So in the morning at around 11 a.m., we conducted a prelim round just to shortlist the four teams out of the eight teams that we got the entry for. So we can have the glimpse of the prelims rounds. So this is how we organized. There were seven teams that participated. One team did not participate at the last moment. And after the prelims round, these were the scores, and this is the final scoring of all the teams. So the four teams that qualified for the final rounds is there are two teams from the AIMS. That is one is led by Dr. Mukesh, and the other is led by Dr. Devashish. And there are two more teams, one from IBAS and one from Research and Referral Hospital. So now we'll be going for the final rounds of the quiz.
So we had an overwhelming response to the quiz in the morning, and it was a very exciting session. So I think the participants are also looking forward to the final rounds now. Have the participants logged in?
ठीक है मैंने सब ऑन कर दिया
So participants.
I can see three teams with us. One is led by Priyank, the other is Anshul Goyal, third is Devashish.
Please label your names along with your name.
Yeah. And the fourth team, I think.
We are also
joining. Okay.
Please change your usernames as the same that you used in the morning prelim rounds.
Okay. Leave करना पड़ेगा. Leave कर. We'll join again.
Mute.
There was one more team from RNR Hospital. Shwetaji, can you please ask them to join?
Yeah, 1 second.
We have joined, sir.
Okay. So all four teams are present. Just acknowledge AIMS Devashish is there, AIMS Mukesh is there, IBAS team and RNR Hospital. All four are there.
Yes, sir. We are also here from RNR team, sir.
Okay. So we will be proceeding for the final round of the DNA Conquest 2021. So there is these are the rules. There will be a total of 6 rounds. Each question carries 10 points. The correct answer carries the 10 points. Each incorrect answer deducts your 5 points. And if a question is not answered, it passes to the next team and will be awarded 5 points. The sixth and final round is the rapid fire round. For that, you have to use your chat box to write the answers, specifically to me, Satish Verma. And the fastest correct answer will be considered for giving the points. There won't be any negative marking for this round. In case of a tie, further questions will be asked only to the teams who have scored equally, following the same rules. So the rules are the rules clear to all the teams?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We will start the first round with team A. In the first round, if the questions end with team D, the next round we will start with team D. So we will have one round clockwise, then one round anti-clockwise.
So just for the sake of scoring, we have named the team as shown in the screen. So team A is AIMS team led by Dr. Mukesh. Team B is the IBAS team. Team C is the AIMS team led by Dr. Devashish. And team D is the team of RNR Hospital. Shweta ji, please note this slide for scoring.
Sir, can you repeat once again? That is,
Yeah,
team
yeah.
A is
You can
Vibhas
take a
team.
screenshot of this slide.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the time?
The time limit will be around 30 seconds after we finished asking the question.
So you can discuss among yourself, and within 30 seconds of the question being asked, you are supposed to answer. And if you don't know the answer, or if you want to pass, then you can pass the question, then it will go to the next team. For example, if we are going in the clockwise round, after team A passes the question, it will go to team B and so on.
You won't be getting any time for a question that is passed on to you. If you know it, you have to answer it. Otherwise, you may further pass it on.
And the quizmaster's decision will be final.
Right.
And we have to type in the sixth round. In the other rounds, you have to just answer.
In the sixth round, the sixth round will be a rapid fire round. For that, you have to use the chat box.
Okay, sir.
And the team that gives the fastest correct answer will be given the marks. Okay.
Right, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
So the scorers, please note that your timer starts when the question is finished from our side. And after that, 30 seconds are given to the team for answering the question.
Sushil, please note the same.
So now we can proceed to the round one of this final quiz round.
So identify them.
They are the Nobel Prize winners for medicine this time around. They were given Nobel Prize for hepatitis C, Alter, Rice, and House.
Which year?
Alter, Rice, and Houghton. They were given Nobel Prize for medicine for discovery of hepatitis C in the year 2021.
No, the question goes to team B.
Pass.
C.
Pass.
D.
Pass.
Okay.
So team A gets 5 minus points.
So these three scientists were awarded the Nobel Prize in 2017 for discoveries of molecular mechanisms controlling the circadian rhythm. They are Jeffrey Hall, Michael Rosbash, and Michael M. So moving on to the next question to team B.
So you have to basically identify this great Portuguese neurosurgeon who received Nobel Prize for medicine in 1949 for a famous surgical procedure that is called as white cut. And the question here is, what was the another major contribution that is still relevant today that was developed by him? Team B has to answer. What was the another major contribution that is relevant even today?
Pass.
Question goes to team C.
Cerebral angiography.
That is the correct answer. He gets 10 points. Now we'll go to the third question for team C.
So who is this person whose name is taken almost every day on rounds? Team C. Team C.
Pass.
Okay, the question now goes to Team D.
He is David Deringer.
Team A.
He's a British paleographer.
Pass.
Team A.
Sir, we are team D. We have already answered the question, sir.
No, the answer
David.
is incorrect. Team A.
Okay. Okay.
Pass.
Ila, you have to say that whether this is correct or not
No,
before
that
proceeding to the other team.
the answer is incorrect. The question.
So say that, because otherwise they will not know.
Team D, do you want to try?
Team D. Team D.
Okay. This is Ian McDonald of the McDonald criteria for diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. So we'll go to the next question.
Score. Team D -5. Team D.
This, there is no point for any team in this round for this question. Now we'll go to the next question, question 4.
Question number 4. This is for Team D. So everybody knows that he is a Swedish physician, and he was professor of neurosurgery at the Karolinska Institute in Stockholm, Sweden. He developed a stereotactic system that consisted of two separate items, that is Lexel coordinator frame and the Lexel multi-purpose stereotactic arm, that is used in targeting in the deep brain stimulation. The question is, the stereotactic system designed by him is based on what principle? How does this system target, reach the target? Question for Team D.
Pass.
Team A.
Cartesian coordinate center of arc.
Correct answer. 5 points to Team A. Now the question 5 for
Team D.
Team D.
Shwetaji, please start the timer.
This question is for Team D.
This is for the Team D.
Team D, direct question.
मालूम कैसे आ गया?
Pass.
Pass.
Team C.
Pass.
B. For past questions, you don't have negative marking. You can at least guess.
Team pass.
Team A.
Pass.
So he is Panetopoulos, who is the epileptologist, and he is the author of the Panetopoulos book on epilepsy.
So question number 6 for Team C. We are going in the reverse direction, A to D and now D to A. He was an English neurosurgeon. He was famous for his bestseller that was published in 2014. You must have read that book. He published another book in 2017. Cover page is shown here for that book. That was titled Admissions, Life as a Brain Surgeon. You have to identify this surgeon, neurosurgeon. Team C.
Henry Thomas Marsh.
Correct answer. Team C gets 10 points.
Who is this famous physician?
Question for Team B.
Pass.
A,
Pass.
team D,
William Osler.
very good. He is considered to be the father of medicine. He is William Osler. Though his name is associated with as the father of medicine, he has done so many autopsies of the human brain. He has done over 800 autopsies, and though he is not known as a great neurologist, he has done a lot of work in neurological anatomic dissection also.
So coming to question 8, last question of this round for team A. There is a saying in neurosurgery, if you don't know him, this means you are probably not into neurosurgery. So you must have identified him. The question is the country of his birth. He was born in which country?
Turkey.
So Turkey is the correct answer. So this finishes our first
10
round.
10 points.
10
to-
points for team A.
So Shwetaji, can we have the scores at the end of round 1?
Ma'am, so the team A is 10, having 10 points. Team B is 10 points. Team C 20 points. Team D 0 points.
Sir, team C, they have got 10 for a past question. They should be getting 5.
They team A has got -5 too.
So team A.
No. Regarding team C, they should be getting total 15. Matlab one for direct and one for past plus 5. Matlab they are getting 10.
Okay.
Shwetaji, just I'll repeat the rules for scoring. If the question is asked directly to that team and he answers, the point he will be getting is 10. But whenever the team answers a question that is passed on to that team, he will get 5 marks. And whenever a team answers a question that is directly asked to him and the answer is incorrect, the scores will be -5. There won't be any negative marking for any question that is passed on and answered incorrectly. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. The team C, they got plus 10 for one direct question, and they should be getting plus 5 for a past question, but they got
Right. So total 15.
yes, they should be.
Can you please repeat the scores?
Yeah. Team A 10 points. Team B 10 points. Team C 15 points. Team D 0 points.
So team A has basically
Ma'am,
answered one
we have
answer incorrectly.
sir, we are from team sir, and we have answered one past question.
You're from which team?
And we have no negative points.
You're from which team?
The team D, sir.
Team D.
We have team D, sir, from RNR, sir. We had one past question, and we have not answered any direct questions wrongly, sir. We have passed our direct questions. So we have 5 points, sir.
Yeah, the scores will be for team A, it will be 5. For team B, it will be 10. For team C, 15. And team D, 5.
Yes. Yes.
We are from team A.
I think you people manage the scoring rather than giving it to Shweta, because I don't think she has understood the entire scoring problem.
The team A is 10. One was -5, one was +5, and then 10. So 15 marks, basically 10 marks.
No. Now it has changed, no? Because team C is now 15.
Sir,
Isn't it?
the last question. See, first question, I'll tell you. The first question was -5 for them because it's the direct question. Question 4 was a +5 for a past question, and question 8 was a +10 for a direct question.
So they are 10.
Yeah, they're 10.
Okay.
Okay, so Shwetaji, can you just update the scores because you have got it correctly? Just please repeat for us. Team A.
So team A would be 10. Team B 10 points. Team C 15 points. Team D 5 points.
Okay, done.
So we'll move on to the next round. Once again, we will be starting this round from team A.
माइक बंद कर जहाँ पे तेरा नहीं सुनाई दे रहा ना repeat ask them right
So we
there
had
there
a
and then
55-year-old lady with left complete ophthalmoplegia. What is the
एक
right?
दिया था ना question 7 का हमें नहीं
Team A. Shweta ji, timer please.
रोहित
So the question passes to team B.
Cavernous sinus thrombosis.
Team C. The answer is incorrect. Question passes to team C.
Orbital apex syndrome.
Correct. Team D.
CVT.
So no,
Cavernous angioma.
no. The answer is incorrect. I will tell the correct answer. There is a aneurysm in the cavernous ICA. As you see, there is the calcified wall of this aneurysm. And because of this progressively enlarging thing, there is a erosion of the bone in the lateral wall of the orbit also here. So this is a classic case of a cavernous ICA aneurysm leading to left complete ophthalmoplegia. It is one of the causes of cavernous sinus syndrome, and the CT itself can give you the diagnosis. So we'll move on to the next question to team B.
No, ma'am, this point goes to team C +5.
No, none of the team gets any point.
No team. Okay.
Question. The next question to team D.
A man. Minus A.
The first team did not. Team A did not give any answer. There is no negative marking for any of the teams also, because all the teams that answered were answering in the pass chance only. So for this question, there is no point, no positive or negative point for any of the teams. So we'll go to the next question for team B. So we had this 58-year-old lady with 3-week history of persistent headache, nausea, vomiting, disturbed vision, intermittent oral pulsations, and unsteadiness of gait with acroparesthesias. Fundus revealed papilledema. We have this post-contrast T1 image. What is the diagnosis?
GFAP astrocytopathy.
Correct. This is an anti-GFAP astrocytopathy. And we have this classical imaging finding of radiating T1 post-contrast hyperintense lesions in the centrum semioval region. So this is the question to team C. Describe the findings in these images and what are the clinical possibilities. So Shweta ji, for the last question, +10 to team B.
Okay, ma'am.
Team C, please answer this question. Describe the findings and give us the possibility. Team B, you can at least describe the findings.
These are periventricular hyperintensities with white matter hyperintensity also. There hyperintensity. Sinus is prominent.
What is prominent? Sinus.
Superior direct sinus is prominent. Atrophy.
The upper images. Okay. So the question passes to team D.
Ma'am, below images in the below sections are the flare sections and above are the T1 post-contrast images. On the flare, we are seeing multiple areas, periventricular, hyperintense lesions, and on contrast, we are seeing on the left side, there is a frontoparietal pachymeningeal and Garrel-based enhancement, which is also finding on the interhemispheric picture also. So the possibilities for this would be likely a focal hypertrophic meningitis, pachymeningitis, likely due to infection like chronic TB, sarcoidosis. This could be like Wegener's granulomatosis, IgG-related diseases. Malignancies can also be differential. Meningiomas and lymphomas can also be
I
differential.
give the point to you. 5 points to team D. So the upper cuts are the post-contrast T1 images. We see unihemispheric leptomeningeal contrast enhancement, which is present in the sulci. And in the below images corresponding to these hyperintensities in the sulci, we see flare hyperintensities also. So such strictly unilateral, you think more in favor of structural lesions. So this patient had a mass in the left lung, which was then this patient actually had a carcinomatous leptomeningitis. Very good. So we'll move on to the next question. This is a
So
direct.
the marks goes to team D, 5 marks, plus 5.
So this is a direct question to team D. So we had this 35-year-old man who presented with sudden onset headache and sensation of giddiness on the 1st of November 2018, and he was taken to the hospital. He had loss of slipper from the left foot while riding on the pillion seat of the bike, which he was not aware, but it was pointed out by the biker who was riding behind them on the road. So we have these two sets of images. The first imaging was done on the very next day of this event, and the second image was done 8 days later.
Which one is which?
The first image, this is the second, this is the image done on the 2nd of November, and this is the second image done 8 days later. Can you describe the findings and what has happened? What do you think is the diagnosis?
I'm on the Excel CT section that we're seeing. The left one image is showing on the right frontoparietal region. It is showing a hypodensity, and later on there is slight the hypodensity has disappeared, and there is slight gray-white matter differentiation on the that area, and slight ventricular enlargement that can be noticed.
So what is the diagnosis?
Probably it could be concussion. Will pass.
Pass.
D has given a partly
Pass.
correct answer, but the diagnosis was wrong. Let us see what team A has to say. This is a pass test.
Ma'am, hello. Yeah, diagnosis is press.
Team, no, incorrect. Team B.
Image A is suggesting of right parietal infarct, and image B is suggestive of CT fogging phenomenon, which occur after 1 to 2 weeks after the acute infarct.
Team B gets 5 points for the pass and pass question, and team D gets -5 for incorrect response.
Team D.
Shwetaji, team D -5.
Yes, ma'am.
So we
I've noted, ma'am. +5 for team B and -5 for team B.
Right. So we'll go on to the next question.
Partially correct.
Team D. So this question is again for team D. These are the MRI scans of a 45-year-old male who presented with acute onset memory impairment and vertical gaze palsy. MRI shows flare hyperintensities with diffusion restriction and bilateral paramedian thalamic areas and rostral midbrain. So what is the probable cerebrovascular variation that may cause this bilateral thalamic infarct? With the V sign that you can notice in the second image, the flare hyperintense V sign.
Sir, we have connection. We have been disconnected. Sir, we are connecting again, sir.
Team D.
So this is likely. So this is top of basilar syndrome.
Who is answering?
Who is answering this question? Team
Sir,
D.
The team D, sir. The actually has reconnected basilar syndrome.
Sir, so there is still some disturbance from your side.
Sir, the image is finding are likely top of basilarity syndrome.
You're from team D, right?
Hello, sir. Yeah, we are. Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
You're audible. You're from which team? This
So
question
team D is talking right now.
RNR teams.
was from team D, for team D.
Team D. Yes. So the area is, it is the top of basilar artery syndrome, sir.
So
Top
this
of
is your
basilar
final
artery.
answer. This is your final
Infarction.
answer. So this is not the correct answer. The question
Yes,
goes
sir.
to team C. Question goes to team C.
Thymo-perforator artery Percheron syndrome.
So that is the correct answer. So this is a typical infarct in the territory of artery of Percheron, which is a very rare variant seen in less than 4% of the cases. And it has a typical bilateral thalamic involvement and a V sign, that is basically involvement of bilateral cerebral peduncles that forms the V. So team C gets 5 points. And team D gets -5 points.
For the fifth question, +5 for team B and -5 for team D.
C. No. This is wrong. +5 for team C.
+5 for team C and -5 for team D.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So the next question is for team C. These are the angiograms of a 55-year-old male who presented with an SH, that is subarachnoid hemorrhage, and was diagnosed with 2 aneurysms that are not very well seen in this run. But the aneurysms were located in left A1 segment and left A1 ACOM junction. This red arrow marks a variation in the vasculature. You have to identify this variation. This question is for team C.
Fetal PCA.
C.
Fetal PCA.
Yeah, correct answer. This is fetal PCA. As you can see on the right side, right panel image that shows the right vertebral artery angiogram in the AP view, the PCA is not very well visualized and it is being filled with the left ICA run. So that this is a fetal PCA variant. So 10 points for team C.
Okay, sir.
So this question is for team B. So these are the images. Panel on the left side shows white matter tracts that are superimposed on a post-gadolinium MRI showing a lesion in the left parietal lobe.
This is the images of diffusion tensor tractography, and the principle used for it is fractional anisotropy.
Good. This is the correct answer. So 10 points for team B. Coming to the next question. Shwetaji, please give 10
Noted,
points.
sir. Noted, sir.
Okay. For question for team A. This is a spot diagnosis. You have to make a spot diagnosis. This is a MRI of 7 months. Question for team A.
The vein of Galen malformation.
Good. That is the correct answer. So this concludes our second round. Can we have the scores, please? Shwetaji?
Yes, 1 second, please. Team A 10, Team B 25, Team C 15, and Team D we have -5.
Can you please repeat it?
Team A 10, Team B 25, Team C 15, and Team D -5.
I think you have not added the previous round score.
20.
No,
How
I've not added the previous round score. This is for this round only.
This round only.
Round 1 and 2.
You have to give the total scores.
Okay, 1 second then.
I think you can go ahead. It is getting very late. So kindly hurry up a little bit.
Okay, we'll go to round 3. So we just now heard a great oration of the discovery of levodopa. This is regarding discovery of another exciting discovery. So you have to find out, you have to tell us what we are talking about. What is this agent we are talking about? Kerner carried out heroic experiments on himself, in which he had made the experience that the extracts in fact tasted sour and led to mild symptoms of beginning of this condition. He wrote, some drops of acid brought onto tongue cause great drying out of the palate and pharynx. When Kerner's former university teacher heard of his self-experiments, he warned him against doing such further trials. So what is this agent that we are talking about? Team A.
Botulinum extract.
Very good. So this was how it was separated. Okay, for the sake of time, we'll just go to the next question. Plus 10 points to Team A. This is a question to Team B. 68-year-old male presented with cognitive decline, hearing impairment, and vision loss, along with hyporeflexic weakness of all 4 limbs, 6 months following hip replacement surgery. What is the diagnosis? Team B. So we'll pass the question to the next team. Team C.
Facial ganglia stroke.
Incorrect response. Team D. Team A.
Ma'am, this is likely a mitochondrial disease.
No, the answer is incorrect.
Team D, ma'am. Team D, mitochondrial disease.
No score for any of the teams. And so patient is having cobalt toxicity following hip replacement. So we'll go on to the next question. This is a direct question to Team C. 47-year-old man traveled to Cuba for 1 week for business. 2 days after his return, he noted prominent symptoms of reversal of hot and cold sensations in his upper and lower extremities. What is the diagnosis? Team C. So in the interest of time, I pass the question to Team D. Team D.
Ma'am, this is like a Jamaican root disease.
Incorrect answer. Team B.
Shellfish poisoning.
Incorrect.
Next question.
Team C.
Vitamin B deficiency, the Cuban epidemic.
No, the answer is incorrect. The correct answer is Ciguatera fish poisoning.
So
We'll move on to the
shellfish.
next.
Excuse me. Because shellfish contain the Shigura toxin. No?
No, it is.
Yes.
It's not
Shellfish is a kind of a fish which contains the Ciguatera toxin.
You are supposed to tell the name of the toxin. There are several types of shellfish which don't contain the toxin also. So the correct answer for this question would be Ciguatera poisoning. And we'll move on to the next question.
Team D.
So this is a direct question to Team D. This 21-year-old man was brought to the emergency in the morning with unsteadiness. What was he doing the previous night? The question passes to Team A.
Methanol poisoning.
Incorrect. Question passes to Team B.
Heroin poisoning.
Very good. This is heroin poisoning. Can you describe the findings?
Chasing the drug sign. Chasing the dragon sign.
You're chasing the dragon. Can you tell us what is involved and what structure is?
Dentate nucleus is involved. T2 hyperintensity is seen in the dentate nucleus.
Okay, I will give you the points, but the dentate nucleus is spared, and the middle cerebellar peduncle and the white matter of the cerebellum is involved. Actually, the dentate nucleus is spared here. Anyway, I give you the point.
It was team B. Answered by team B.
C. Team C gets 5 points.
Team B or team C?
Team C answered, right?
No, team B.
Team
Yeah.
B answered. Ibhas answered.
Okay. Sorry. Team B gets 5 points.
This concludes round 3.
3.
This concludes our round 3. Please tell the scores at the end of this round. Shweta ji.
Ma'am, this round
One. Let me give you the final scores with the round A and B included. Team A 30, Team B 40, Team C 30, and Team D 0.
Team C hasn't scored any point in the last round, I think.
Yeah, Team C hasn't scored any point in last round, but first two rounds include 30. 15 in last one and 15 in the first one.
Kylie, go ahead. with the round
Okay,
four.
we start the round 4. This round will be from starting from team D. So axillary skin biopsy in a child with progressive myoclonic epilepsy. So we have 5 components to this question. Each component carries 2 marks. Team D.
Is it for D or B?
Ma'am, these are the. This is team D, sir.
Yeah.
For team D, right?
Yes, team D.
The question. Yes, ma'am. So it is depicting the Lafora bodies, and the stain is the HNE, and it is showing what composition of the composition. Lafora bodies, HNE stain, composition, and what else can you see in these? Just we pass on.
Okay. For this question, team D, the correct arrows are showing that the answer is also correct. Lafora bodies. The name of the stain is wrong, and the composition and where else the other 3 questions you haven't answered. So you will be getting 4 points. Team D gets 4 points. Now the question is passed to team C. Can you try? What is the stain, composition of the material, and where else do you see this inclusion?
This is past positive diastase resistant cytoplasmic inclusion bodies.
Very good.
Where else can we see this? They can be also seen in internal organs like liver and also sometimes in muscle as well.
Okay. What is the composition of the material?
These are glycogen, past positive diastase resistant.
So I give 4 points to team C. Does team B want to try?
Regarding what? Material?
The composition of the material. Team A.
Are the inclusions are polyglucosan inclusions?
Right. They are polyglucosan mutation. I will give 2 points to team A.
Team B. We are team B.
Okay, team B gets 2 points. Right. So we'll move on to the next question. This is a brain biopsy. This is a question to team C. Brain biopsy from a 58-year-old male with seizures and cognitive decline. What is your diagnosis? Describe the findings and what is the composition of the material?
Ma'am, our diagnosis is cerebral amyloid angiopathy.
Correct.
And the findings that we can see are the Congo red staining of the amyloid material, which is also seen on the polarized light. And the composition is A beta amyloid non.
Very good. You get 10 points.
Team C gets 10 points.
So now we give this question to team B. This is a 30-year-old lady with proximal muscle weakness. What is the diagnosis and describe the findings?
Is it dermatomyositis?
Okay, correct.
And findings are perimesial, endomesial, infiltrates, inflammatory, predominantly neutrophilic, and also perivascular atrophy is also there.
Perivascular atrophy, I agree. Can you just describe the findings in this slide?
There is a perimysial and endomysial infiltrates.
So it is perimysial atrophy and perivascular infiltrates, and we also have this MHC class 1.
MHC class 1 CD8 T cells expression is also.
I give you 10 points. Team B gets 10 points. So we'll go to the next question. To team A. This is a 12-year-old male with non-progressive muscle weakness.
And this is congenital myopathy, centronuclear myopathy. We can see in the cytochrome oxidase stains, we can see the centronuclear inclusion. So it's a congenital myopathy.
Congenital myopathy is correct, but the subtype is incorrect. So the question now goes to team D. In -5 to team A. The question now goes to team D. Team C.
Miller's syndrome.
Incorrect. Team B. So the correct answer is central core myopathy. We'll go to the next question.
Central core myopathy.
So this question -5 only to team A.
So after these complicated slides, let us get back to simpler questions, relatively simpler questions. So WHO CNS tumor classification. Yeah, this is to team A. Team A. This is for team A.
Type 3.
So answer is correct. Answer is type 3. Good. Next question is for team B. Diffuse gliomas of midline.
Sorry to interrupt. Last question. The marks goes to
team A. 10 marks. This question is for team B. Which specific mutation is found in these diffuse midline gliomas?
I think it's ADH mutation.
Incorrect. Pass on to team
H3K27. H3K27 mutation.
The answer is from team C, right?
Yes, yes.
So +5 for team C. Correct answer. Now the direct question is for team C. Ependymomas have been categorized based on molecular profiling with unique genetic, epigenetic, and transcriptional differences to these three groups. Majority of supratentorial ependymomas carry a specific translocation. What is that? Question for team C. The question passes on to team D.
Sir, RELA fusion.
Which team has answered? Team C.
Team C. RELA fusion.
Okay, I will give it to you. +10 for team C. So this is the last question of this round. Question for team D. Atypical teratoid and rhabdoid tumor, ATRT, are rare malignant pediatric brain tumors in vast majority of cases caused by inactivating mutations of a particular gene. What is that gene? Question for team D.
Atypical.
Question will be passed into the next 5 seconds.
Pass.
Question passes to team A.
Sir, SMART B1 or INI1.
That is the correct answer. 2 points for team A.
So that brings us to the end of round 4. Shwetaji, please update the score at the end of round 4.
Last question was +5 to team A, right?
Yeah.
So the total tally is 40 for team A, 52 for team B, 59 for team C, and 4 for team D.
There was a -5 also in this round for team B.
It was for team A, not for team B.
Okay.
Question 4.
Okay. So let us get back to round 5. This will be for team A. So the top panel shows a frontal aspect of sphenoid bone. Question for team A. And the bottom panel shows a coronal CT image at the level of its canal. You have to identify this foramina or canal pointed by the red arrow. Question for team A.
It's a median canal.
Correct answer. 10 points for team A. The next question is for team B. This arrow points towards a persistent canal that is seen in 4% of the population. And this is a potential site for lateral sphenoidal encephaloceles. You have to identify this phenomena. Question for team B. Direct question.
PCTC canal? PC canal.
Which one? I'm not getting your answer.
PCPC. Persistent PCPC canal. Persistent.
Elaborate. Can you?
Persistent craniopharyngeal canal.
There are two types of persistent craniopharyngeal canal. I want a specific answer for this. Question passes to team C.
Persistent hypophyseal canal.
Incorrect. Question passes to team D. So the correct answer is
craniopharyngeal canal, sir.
I already said there are two types of craniopharyngeal canals, persistent, medial and lateral. So this is a lateral craniopharyngeal canal, also known as Sternberg's canal, and that is a potential site for lateral sphenoidal encephaloceles.
It was not passed on to us, sir. We knew the answer.
Okay, you're from team A.
Yes, sir. Sternberg's canal.
Okay. क्या करें? Okay, so +5 for team A.
Sir, this is after you told the answer, sir.
What we can do is that we can just cancel this question. Okay? Because the
no marks for anyone.
No marks for anyone because the question the team to which this question was asked hasn't answered. So this question doesn't carry any marks for any team.
Team B has answered wrongly, sir. They should be given negative.
They passed the question. They did not answer. So this is
go on, please. Go on. Next.
Yes, sir. So this is third question for team C. This is one of the middle fossa triangles that is called as anteromedial triangle. Which answer you are likely to find after drilling the bone in this triangle? Question for team C.
Sphenoid sinus.
Correct answer. 10 points to team C. Question number 4 for team D. So this diagram shows the posterior iliac crest, which is an important site for harvesting of autologous bone graft. Skin incision should not be placed 7 to 8 centimeters lateral to the posterior superior iliac spine, as it carries the risk of injury to nerves pointed by the red arrows. Identify these nerves. Question to team D.
Sciatic nerve.
-5 for team D.
Red arrows.
These red arrows.
Sir,
Team D has answered it wrong. -5. Question goes to team A.
The answer is superior cuneal nerve.
Superior cuneal nerves by team A, right?
Yes, sir.
So +5 for team A. This is the correct answer.
So Shweta ji, can you just update the
scores?
Yes, 1 second. Team A 55, Team B 52, Team C 69, and Team D -1.
Can you please repeat?
Team A 55, Team B 52, Team C 69, and Team D -1. तो पिछली बारी 4 था, अभी -5 हो गया तो -1.
Okay, start the round 6.
Okay, so in the interest of time, we'll just finish because there is no tie also. The rapid fire, we were planning for a chat box thing, but for the because of lack of time, we decided to close the quiz right here.
Okay.
I think you should close it here.
So we have the final scores. Team A scores 55, Team B scores 52, Team C scores 69, and Team D -1. So the winner is Team C.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the conducting the quiz. May I have Dr. Achal, please, on the.
Yes, sir.
Now, Achal, let us start the valedictory function.
Yes, yes, sir.
And you kindly, say vote of thanks. But before that, give the declaration of the results of the other, contests.
Yeah, sir, you would like to read?
No, you lead. You read.
Okay, sir. Shweta, please show the. So first I present the award paper. As you know, 6 papers were there in the neurology section, 6 papers in the neuro surgery section. And in both of them, 2 papers belong to allied category. So now we have the results for neurology. Varun Rihani from RR Hospital, first prize for award paper. Series of IgG4. Yeah, I think we'll skip the title. One can read from the slide. Yes, next. Second prize goes to Dr. Akhil Sahib from AIMS. Next. Third prize goes to Manpreet Kaur Rangan, again AIMS. For neurosurgery. Next slide. First prize goes to Ravi Sharma from AIMS. Second prize goes to Nivedita, again from AIMS. Third prize goes to Dr. Bhanu Pratap. Oh, sorry. There was a tie for the second prize. Bhanu Pratap, he also won the second prize. There was a tie in the marks obtained. Now we go to the allied papers. Next slide. First prize goes to Dr. Iman. Next. Second prize goes to Dr. Jyotsna Singh. Third prize goes to Dr. Uzma Begum from Jipmar. In the poster category, neurology, first prize goes to Dr. Snigdha. Second prize goes to Dr. Saranya. Third prize goes to Anand Padmanabhan. In the neurosurgery section, first prize goes to Pranjal. Second prize again goes to Dr. Rahul. Third prize, Dr. Wajid Nazir. He is from Jipmar. It is wrongly written, Shweta. Yeah. Award paper results in the neuro nursing category. There were 9 papers. Next. First prize goes to Sweetie from AIMS. Second prize goes to Rekha Pradhan, again from AIMS. Third prize goes to Khangawali, not from, she's from Sanjang. Yes. All right. Next slide.
Achal, I see that the topics title is all the IG4 related disease. So
No,
everybody.
it is wrongly written, sir.
So I find it very amusing that everybody has gone a prize on IgG4 related disease.
That's what.
So that is the. And
That's what I also remember. Everybody name was also written names.
And I hope you have selected the judges on equal footing because there has been a slant towards the prizes. So therefore, there should not be any problem with that.
Yeah.
Right.
So this was the about prizes. Now again, I will ask Dr. Devashish sir to go ahead with his work.
Kindly, if you want to say a vote of thanks to your workers and this thing, because we have gone a successful conference.
Yes, I can say. So I feel pride in saying the vote of thanks. So first of all, I would like to thank the whole of Delhi Neurological Association, our president, who has now become past president, Dr. Amitabh Verma, our secretary, who is now again past secretary, Professor Devashish sir, Dr. Ish Anand, and the EC members, Dr. Vaishali, Dr. P.K. Sajdev, Dr. Sanjeev Jha, and Dr. Suman Kushwaha, whom I worked for last 3 years. And how the time passed, I do not know. We did a lot of work. Several things we raised and several things we sorted out actually. And now I believe that next EC will do further work. And I will also like to thank my organizing committee at AIIMS under the leadership of Professor M.E. Padma and my close associates, Dr. Animesh and Dr. Tandon, and also Dr. Awadh. All 4 of us worked very hard, and 2 more people, Dr. Kamarjit and Dr. Amol, who were there throughout, Dr. Joseph, Dr. Keshav, and Dr. Vaishali. So again, here also I'd like to thank the HODs, Dr. Shailesh, Dr. Kale, and Dr. MC Sharma, Dr. Chaturvedi, who provided all help. And also, I would like to thank the event management company, NUMEC, who were behind the scene. Always they were there to help us. And the backhand grower, those people were also there. And I also like to thank our financial supporters, primarily Sun Pharma, who are the principal supporter. Then in the gold category, Intas Pharma. And then silver category, Sanofi and Torrent. And in the bronze category, Lorinan, Allergan, Cipla, and Arena. And in the others category, provided some help, Icon. And I will fail in my attempt to say vote of thanks if I don't thank Dr. Inder, my scientist, who helped a lot, who was there for last 3 days. And he was also instrumental in coming out with the abstract book. And also 2 of my office staff, Amit and Ranjan. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Achal. Now, may I request?
And in the end, sir, in the end, the auditorium staff and the internet support team, which was behind the scene in the conference hall, I would like to thank them as well. Thank you, sir.
Correct. Thank you. So we have Dr. Satnam Chhabra, the president of DNA, current president of DNA. Dr. Chhabra would like to say a few words.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Devashish. It's a matter of great honor and pride for me to be elected as the president of Delhi Neurological Association. I accept this responsibility with all humility, and I thank you all for electing me as president and to serve the society. I assure you that I'll try to do my best to serve the association. I would like to thank the outgoing president, very dynamic person, Dr. Amitabh Verma, for running this association for last 1 year during this very difficult time of pandemic. And although we couldn't have physical meetings and conference, but we managed to have very good monthly meetings, online meetings, and online conference. So hats off to you, Dr. Amitabh Verma and your team. And I hope you will continue to guide us in future also. Thank you, Dr. Verma, sir. And Dr. Debashish Chaudhary, I am very thankful to you for your hard work. You are a very meticulous person, very hardworking and very sharp. And you are a good human being and a good friend. Thank you so much for conducting the work of the society. And I hope you will continue to help us. And in very near future, I wish you all the best to become the president of this association. And I would like to thank Dr. Ishanand, my friend, who has kept the financial health of the association in a very good shape. Thank you, Ish. We meet every day in Gangaram. And I thank all the other members of executive committee of the outgoing DNA executive for their conducting the meetings regularly and for their contribution to the society. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And I see that still Professor Gauri Devi is there. She is one of the senior most members of the DNA. So, ma'am, would you like to comment on, say a few words about this conference and the work of DNA?
1 second. So I think this conference has been an overwhelming episode, I must say. And I think I've come to like these virtual conferences than even the physical ones. You
Correct.
know? Because in the physical ones, you keep disappearing here and there. Of course, you meet physically, but then I think these are very nice too. So we could in future have some hybrid conferences, you know,
Correct.
part of it as the physical thing and others as virtual. And a great job done by Professor Padma Srivastav and their entire team, the executive committee, and everybody who has made a lot of effort. I thoroughly enjoyed this, and from the beginning till end, I've been sitting here in front of my laptop. Debashish, a great job done.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
To all of
Now,
you.
Dr. Daljit Singh, may I request you to say a few words?
Yes, Debashish, it's a privilege to be a part of this team. I heard Satnam's, congratulations Satnam for taking over.
Thank you.
And
you,
welcome. We have good galaxies of people who will be, taking the work of the DNA to the greater heights in the time to come. And Achal, and I think I posted somewhere in the era of pandemic, it has been a pan-academic activities. So pandemic has not been able to deter and defer the activities of academic. So it has actually united us in a virtual manner, and it has created an environment of pan-academic. I agree with Dr. Gauri Devi also that this is going to be a new way of a new beginning, a new lifestyles in our day-to-day streaming. Maybe hybrid meeting would definitely play a role for at least those who for some reasons cannot make up to the physical meeting. So that can be combined forums to most of these spaces. With these words, I appreciated, I liked most of the meeting. Congratulations, Dr. Achal Srivastav, Dr. Debashish, and then everyone who had been doing a lot of work in making this conference or this virtual meeting a grand success.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So before I finish, I request Dr. Amitabh Verma, our past president, just to say a goodbye line. Dr. Verma, please. Dr. Verma, are you there? Okay, I think he is not probably getting his microphone on. So, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a breathtaking 3 days of academic feast, and thanks to Dr. Padma, Dr. Achal, and the team at AIIMS, and also the EC and all the members of the EC who have contributed greatly for the success of this program. And I think for the overall success of DNA, and in the times to come, with the able guidance of Dr. Chabra, DNA is going to progress, and it is going to provide more opportunities for the scientific excellence for the neurosurgeons, the neurologists, the allied specialists of Delhi and NCR. So thank you. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye all. See you soon.
So Dr. Satnam, best of luck for
Thank
all
you.
your.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
We are all with you.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Your blessings are required.